Walking along the river, not the cleanest in Jakarta, Indonesia. Not exactly the best I've seen. One of the cleanest I've seen was walking around the river in Lake Geneva, where all along the way you could see the bottom of the water. But unless you see this, you don't appreciate the clear, crystal clear waters of Lake Geneva. Unless you experience living in a trapped life where you're either imprisoned by your job or imprisoned by your relationship or imprisoned by your own self-imposed beliefs, you do not appreciate the serene freedom of doing whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do, as often as you want to do, and where you want to do it. These cute kids. My point is, we need contrast. We need suffering. We need hardship. We need difficulty. God knows I have experienced it. The highest highs and the lowest lows. And again, I repeat, just because I think what I experienced was the lowest lows, it doesn't mean that is the lowest, because there is always infinitely lower situations others can be. By lower, I do not mean money. I mean the suffering, the level of suffering one has to go through. I've seen people in India, I mentioned India with no disrespect, but it just happens to come to memory. I've seen people a man in India who was on a piece of board with 4 makeshift wheels on it. He had no arms, no legs. The only way he could move was with his chin from that piece of board. So most of the time he was just stationary in one place. Now go and complain to him that you have problems. A sick man only wants one thing: to be healthy again. Everything is relative. I'm not preaching to you here, I'm just sharing what I've learned. Every one of us, every living being on this earth has something that is important to them, something that they would spend premium money on, no matter what their income. It is your job, it is your duty. It is up to you to find out what that is. If you don't know what it is yet, you will, because if you're a living person, you have something that is important to you, something that you're willing to give up most other things for. And no other person will understand that except you. No other person will understand that except you, as to why that thing it matters to you. But as long as it matters to you, that's all that counts. And it's your job to devote your life into having that thing that makes you happy, that makes your heart sing, that quickens your pulse, as much as and as often as you can, because otherwise you'll be miserable and bitter. Of course, everything within reason, of course, everything within moderation. And I don't think I need to mention, if those things that are important to you are unnatural, unhealthy things like drugs and alcohol, then I suggest you find something else that makes you happy, because there is. Those things are just numbing factors, self-medicine, self-medication. They are not genuine joys in life. You don't ever need alcohol or drugs or anything that affects your brain, mind-altering substances, to feel better. Once again, I'm not preaching to anyone. I'm just sharing what I've learned from the best of the best. And believe me, you practice it, it works. So discover what it is that matters to you the most. Make sure you do that often, because that is what happiness is all about. Having options, having freedom. All the best.